Gentlemen, what is up, my brothers from another mother? This is an entrepreneurial tip video, so if you're looking for some petrosexual love, you can skip this video right now. I had a guy message me a few weeks ago. I believe he was American, or he was looking to move to the States, and he asked me specifically, what's it like being an entrepreneur and living in Canada, because I'm considering moving there versus the United States. And I have had friends over the last year, especially with the presidential race in the US with Trump versus Hillary, and everybody's like, fuck it, I don't really want to live here anymore. And it's you know, Canada is a different place. I will fill you in on what to expect if you're looking to live in Canada, or if you want to know what the difference is between being an entrepreneur in Canada and the United States. And I'll use a very good example from experience. I had a affiliate partner slash friend. We became friends because I spent some time with him. He's based out of San Antonio, Texas, and when we were doing tons of business at that time, we had affiliates that wanted to basically contract the client and then have us fulfill the back end work. So for those of you that don't know how affiliate marketing works, there's a front end component, which is the sales and marketing side, and the back end component, which is the fulfillment. So in my debt settlement business, we do the front end and the back end in-house, but you can partner with an affiliate that has sales and marketing skills, and they will basically contract the client, and then you split the revenue with them. So I had an interesting experience with him for a good couple of years, and I can tell you from experience what the difference is between Canada and the United States. So I know the cost structure of this business model that I run in Canada versus the United States. I know how he sold it versus how we sold it, what his cost structure is for his employee and his taxes, and what his personal taxes were, and here it is. So Canada is, you know, Canada's a safer place than the United States, there's no doubt about that. Is it completely safe? You know, have I ever been shot at? Yeah, I've been shot at here, actually. You know, I was driving down the highway once about 15 years ago with some friends, and the guy that was driving the car was tailgating somebody. He was driving like an asshole, basically, and the guy pulled off the ramp, and bop, bop, bop. There was, you know, 5 shots in the back of the car when we pulled over to check it out. So is there crime here? Are there guns here? Yeah, there's crime and guns everywhere in the world. I think overall it's a safer place to live. You know, people say that Canada has a great medical system and a healthcare system, and I'm just going to tell you, that shit's not true. I have sat in the hospital for hours waiting for treatment in extreme pain, especially when I was in there for my appendix, and like the service is just not great. So personally myself, I'd rather pay out of pocket for private care. I have friends that live in the US that like the private care they get, but that requires having money. So those are usually the two things that people look at when they look at Canada. I think overall, Canada is more tolerant of multiculturalism. You know, you can drive through different parts of the Toronto area, and there's signs all in Mandarin, Chinese, whatever, depending on the communities. You know, if you go to Little India, it's all, you know, it's all in whatever, you know, language Indians speak. I don't know. You know, you go to Quebec, everybody speaks, or most people speak French. We've got I want to say Justin Trudeau as our Prime Minister, and you know, he seems to be like the darling of the world now for some reason in the media and the news, especially when they compare him to Trump or Hillary. Personally, I don't think you guys have it bad in the United States. I'm not going to chime in on who I think, you know, you should go for as far as president. But back to the difference between being an entrepreneur in Canada versus the US. Here's what happened, or what I saw between me and my buddy Jay. So his business ran really well, and he did make a lot of money. Well, you know, he made the same amount of money that I did here in Canada. But in Canada, I'm paying 5% employer health tax to the government. Our tax rates for pensions and unemployment rate are higher here for employees versus the US. Our minimum wage, like what I have to pay an employee here that does the exact same job as an American employee at his center, is about, or was at the time, about 15% higher. Now his personal tax rate was what blew me away. To put it in perspective and sum it up, he was a guy that had a Lamborghini Gallardo, a Range Rover, and a wakeboarding boat, fairly large. I think it was about 22 or 25 feet or larger. And you know, so he had 3 toys, lived in a nice compounded house in a nice compounded community. You know, his house was worth $500,000. My house was worth, I don't know, I was married at the time, so it was like $1.5 million or something like that. Me and my ex-wife paid for it together. But it was no different in size than his. So to live here at the same standard of living in the US is very, very expensive. You know, to build a custom home here cost us about $1 million, or sorry, the valuation when on the market at sale time was about $1.5 million. The valuation of almost an identical house in San Antonio, Texas, was like $500,000 or $600,000. You know, same square footage, 3-car garage, same sort of stuff. This guy had 3 cars, I had 1 car. You know, for me, my success right at the time was buying the BMW M3 cab from the US. His was a Lamborghini Gallardo. So putting things in perspective, if you want better tax rate, if you want a better lifestyle, you know, if you want flexibility, I'd recommend the United States. The United States has downsides though. Very litigious country. You know, people sue all the time. You know, they sue on contingency. There's ambulance chasers, and everywhere you go there's ads for lawyers all the time. So it can get pretty exhausting dealing with that shit when you're a business owner. I can't even imagine what it's like if you're not a business owner, but if you're constantly answering lawsuits or threats of lawsuits that are all frivolous and eat up your time and money, and you're throwing money at stuff like this. I mean, I've gone through lawsuits here in Canada with my business, and that can be stressful. For me, it's like whatever, it's a drop in the bucket now, but I remember the first 1 or 2 times it happened, it was, you know, it's exhausting, it's very draining. So, you know, there's like pros and cons. You know, you could get shot, you may not get the best health care in the US, but, you know, if you live in a good area and you've got a good business model and you've got a great tax structure where you live, and there's other states that have even better tax structures. I think Delaware's got like no taxes or something. But, you know, if you live in the United States, you do tend to have a higher standard of living than what you do in Canada. So it really depends on what you value, like what you want to get out of life. Canada's cold in the wintertime, okay? Like even in the Toronto area, if you guys watch my videos and have been a subscriber for a while, you've seen me talk for the last 2 years in extreme heat. You know, it's 40 degrees today, extremely hot and humid. Celsius. For those of you that are in the US, I don't know what that converts to Fahrenheit. And in the wintertime, it can get pretty freaking cold, like down to -30 with the wind chill. Sorry, yeah, down. I keep looking at cars. Sorry, guys. You know, down to -30 with the wind chill. So, you know, big differences. I know gun control seems to be a hot topic now in the United States, and we have guns in Canada. I'm a gun owner. I own 3 guns. I have a gun safe. I'm a responsible gun owner. I use them at, you know, clay target shooting range and, you know, rifle shooting and stuff like that. Haven't been hunting yet. Something I'd like to do. But yeah, there's more guns in the U.S. Like you can walk into a gun shop in the U.S. with a driver's license in Florida and walk out with a AR-15 fully automatic rifle with 5 clips in 20 minutes. You know, they don't put a lot of thought into, you know, let's give him a 10-day cooling off period. So maybe if he's, you know, thinking about killing a bunch of people, he can cool his jets and maybe rethink it. In Canada, they're a little tighter with guns. You can still get long guns. It's fairly easy. You know, I've got 3. But the guns are all semi-automatic only, so you can't buy fully automatic as a civilian. So you're limited to the clip size as well. It's 5 magazine clips. So that's why we've got fewer gun crimes, and you know, it really depends on what you value. If I could do it all over again, you know, if I could go back to 20 and do it all over again, my choice would be to live in the United States still. Even knowing today what I know about Canada versus the US, climate's better, opportunities are higher. There are disadvantages, but hey, listen, if you're intelligent and you create a business that adds value to people's lives, there is no reason why you can't live in a safe neighborhood, drive a nice car, have a shitload of money, travel, feel comfortable about, you know, healthcare and your kids going to the right communities and schools and stuff like that. That's my opinion. So thanks for checking out the video. I'd love to hear your comments, guys. Leave a comment below on what you think. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.